At the time, the TWR-built Rovers were battling with BMW and Volvo for European honours. Ford were nowhere, and for a company with such a motorsport pedigree, this hurt. Something needed to be done. The trouble was that Ford didn't have a suitable car.
We decided the Sierra was the best product for touring car racing. The Capri we knew was dying, was not to be replaced. The Granada was a bit cumbersome and the power to weight wouldn't have been suitable. To use an imported car for a high visibility sport like touring car racing would have perhaps presented the wrong image, so we decided it had to be Sierra. We knew that the Sierra was the right shape for racing because Andy Rouse had been highly successful with the Mercure, the American version of the car.
Andy Rouse's Mercure was a 2.3-litre turbocharged monster of a car. The problem was that it was heavy, and Ford couldn't develop it further because the car was only sold in North America. It did, however, prove very competitive in the British Championship in 1985 and 1986. And at the Silverstone Tourist Trophy, its appearance and speed was a real shock to the European touring car regulars. The powerful engine was a great asset, but the extra weight did cause problems. Andy Rouse, for so long a champion of Ford's touring car programme, was confident about its performance, but nervous about its ability to finish such a long race.
Well, we've done a lot of mileage in testing. We've never done the sort of 300 miles all at once, but we've done it over a period of a couple of days during testing and had no problems at all. We've done over 1,000 miles on one engine without any trouble. So engine reliability and generally the chassis and everything else, it's all very good. The one thing that might let us down is the tyres, really, the tyre compounds. We're working the tyres very, very hard to keep up the lap times. And that's the one thing that may give in, especially if the weather's hot.
As it was, the car led from the start, until a sad early retirement caused not by its tyres, but by a broken front stub axle. Meanwhile, over in Europe, Eggenberger was developing the Mercure along similar lines, waiting for something better to come along. But what did Ford have in mind?
Seemed fairly obvious that a turbocharger was essential to get the power. 16 valves, 2 litre, because of the minimum weight regulation would give us the best advantage, which is why the 2.8, which was briefly considered, that was thrown out. We decided not to take that route, so we got 2 litre, 16 valve turbocharged engine in a Sierra. We felt also, as well as being a highly competitive race and to some extent rally car, there would also be benefits in cementing the link between Formula One and Ford through Cosworth being linked to a touring car. It would help the general publicity. Sam Toy, who was chairman of Ford Britain at the time, he helped, and it was interesting that Jim Clark actually played a role because there's a photograph or painting in the boardroom at Ford of Jim Clark on 3 wheels in a Lotus Cortina, and I can remember Sam Toy, the chairman of Ford of Britain, saying, "Hey, this thing you're proposing, will it do for Sierra what the Lotus did for the Cortina all those years ago?" And I said, "It'll do exactly that." And Sam Toy from that point on became an enthusiast. And of course we needed the sales chiefs of the national companies on board because they were the people who'd got to sell these cars. 5,000 is quite a lot of such a specialised car.